This past Friday, Power Rangers fans finally got the announcement that they were looking for at the Fan First Friday, that we were finally going to be getting basic 6-inch figures for Dino Fury Green and Dino Fury Black, Izzy and Javi respectively, in the Power Rangers Dino Fury basic figure toy line. Now, of course, this is exactly what fans wanted, right? Of course, they're getting figures, but they're in a 5-pack. Let's talk about that. Currently, we are a couple of months into the run of Power Rangers Dino Fury, and of course, the basic figure line, as of any other Power Rangers basic figure line, would and should encompass the entire core team of Rangers seen in the show, and Hasbro had been doing that up until this point. Case in point, the Beast Morphers toy line. The very first wave was extremely solid, coming with red, blue, yellow, the Tronic, which was the generic foot soldier, kind of the putty of the season, and kind of one of the major villains, Blaze. And for the most part, that wave was really good. It had the core main team, we got you 2 villains out there, and then we had 3 pretty solid waves of Beast Morphers figures during Season 1, and 2 not as solid waves during Season 2. And this is really kind of where Hasbro started to trail off in their basic figures. Beast Morphers, now of course the main topic of this video is about Dino Fury's basic figure line, but the end of Beast Morphers line just kind of fizzled out. It really could have included a couple of more figures. At least in that toy line, you got the main 5 Rangers, you also got the 3 upgrade forms of the core 3 Rangers, so you really had everything Ranger-wise covered. I can't really think of anything that they could have done unless they did something really cool like the Make-A-Wish exclusive Beast Morphers Orange or something like that. But Dino Fury was a brand new season, technically Hasbro's first complete season of their own, because Beast Morphers was kind of in a certain stage of pre-production when Hasbro took over the franchise. So now, it was really time to see how would they handle kind of their own full season and how would the toy line go. So far, it's not really happening too much, and so the problem with the Dino Fury toy line really kind of stems from similar problems that the Beast Morphers one dealt with. However, they dealt with it, I think, a little bit better, and that is the fact of stretching a Sentai over 2 years. This is something that Bandai America really had mastered by the end of their toy lines. I guess maybe not with the Ninja Steel toy line, as that one was infamously bad. The beginning of the Dino Fury toy line seemed to kind of go just like Beast Morphers was going. We had a basic figure wave of 4 figures, which was down 1 more than Beast Morphers' first wave, but it did what it needed to do. It had red, blue, and pink, the core 3 that the show starts out with, since Green and Black join later on, and it had 1 villain, Boom Tower. Now, this is a little bit different than the first wave of Beast Morphers, like I had said, cut down from 1 figure, and really, I guess the only figure that would be quote-unquote missing from Wave 1 would be the Henchman, the equivalent of the Tronic from Beast Morphers. With Wave 1 being 4 figures, naturally people expected that Wave 2 would be the next logical 4. Green, Black, Gold, and Void Knight. And that is only half of the case here. So we've had 4 months, all the way back to at least to January, but I think maybe even further than that, we had listings for Dino Fury basic figures for Gold and for Void Knight. So we had known that those were coming. On April 1st, 2021, ironically, April Fool's Day, we actually got some leaked photos from an Asian Facebook page that showed us pictures of the Dino Fury Gold and Void Knight figures. And they were really, at this point, guaranteed for Wave 2. However, they were the only listings. Now, if you follow my Lightning Storm series here, you know that I look for Power Rangers listings on the internet all the time for unreleased toys, not just the Lightning Collection. And if I find things for the basic main toy line, I like to post those as well. And for months, I had the listings, I had Walmart pages and stuff like that for the Gold and Void Knight figures. I had barcodes that had listed out not even just those 2, but all the Dino Fury figures so far, and every single Beast Morphers figure, which seemed to also show, where we were going up to that point with the basic figure line, and there was nothing beyond Gold and Void Knight, which did not look very good for Green and Black. I tried to find Green and Black all over the place. There are some Black Ranger listings out there, specifically for the Battle Attackers. We are going to be getting some kind of Battle Attackers Wave 2, I suppose, with the Black Ranger, and we're also going to get one with Void Knight. Those haven't been shown off yet. We don't know what they look like, but there are listings out there for those too. Now, Of course, I kept looking for green and black. I could not find green and black, and our first indication of green and black existing, besides just us assuming that that was going to happen, because how is Hasbro not going to release the main core team, at least complete them, right? Especially if we were going to get gold, and especially if we were going to get Void Knight, they would have to complete the core team. Well, we finally got semi-confirmation when this picture was posted from Twitter user IamNegro at the end of April of 2021, which showed pictures of a green and black Dino Fury Ranger basic figure that looked exactly what you would expect them to look like. Now, of course, where were they going to show up? Well, we kind of got our first indication of what I was hoping would not be the case, but sadly has ended up being the case at the beginning of May of 2021, when I found a listing on Amazon Australia for a DNF team pack. And I had a sinking feeling that these figures were going to be locked into this 5-pack. Now last year in 2020, there was a Beast Morphers 6-pack released, which had the Core 5 team and the Evox figure, and pretty much the entire arsenal of weapons that was released throughout the whole basic figure line. It did not have their Beast X keys, but it was a really good pickup if you hadn't gotten those figures in the line. And you didn't lose anything by not picking it up. That was the key part here. If you had every figure up to this point, you could have skipped that team pack, but if you had none of them, it was a great alternative. And that's what the team packs should be. Now, historically, we've had Power Rangers multi-figure packs that have had an exclusive weapon in them. This was very common during the Bandai America days, I think ever since it was started with Super Mega Force with the Super Mega Cannon. I believe it started there. I know Dino Charge did it numerous times in team packs. There was an exclusive figure in the last one that Bandai America ever did. But at this point, we hadn't seen any indication that Hasbro would necessarily do that, besides them just being Hasbro. Well, unfortunately, our fears were confirmed during the most recent FanFirst Friday when this happened.
So, I know a lot of you have been wondering, where are Izzy and Javi? I am super happy to reveal that you can find them later this fall in the Dino Fury 6-inch core line as part of this Amazon exclusive Dino Fury team pack.
So one thing that was very important to be said here. Now, this caused a big controversy over the course of the past couple of days here, because are they really seriously going to lock Izzy and Javi in this 5-pack? It's certainly possible, but let's break down what they said here, and let's break down the 5-pack in general. So what was specifically stated was that to find the basic core figures, that's what they call this 6-inch line, they call it the core line basically. To get these figures of Izzy and Javi, you were going to have to get this Amazon exclusive 5-pack. That's where you would find them this fall. Now, they specifically did not say anything about them being exclusive to the set themselves. Just you can find them in this set in the fall. Now, when we kind of look at this set here, and we look at what would be locked in as an actual permanent exclusive to the set, I think the most obvious option here would be the Chroma Fury Sabers. Now, personally, I would prefer the basic figures on my shelf to have the Chroma Fury Sabers, since, you know, that's what they use in the show. But the core Rangers that we already have so far have these 3 unique weapons here, and none of them came with their Chroma Fury Saber. So, that is enough for me to get the 5-pack right there. I'm going to be getting the 5-pack because I want Izzy and Javi, but also I do want those Chroma Fury Sabers. The power keys here, I don't think necessarily, especially for green and black, are going to be exclusive here. Basically, it seems like we're going to be getting a straight-up re-release of red and pink. I'll save blue here for a second because I actually think blue might be different. But I do believe that the red and pink in here are completely the same. You're not going to be getting the individual special weapons, at least if the back of the box is to be believed. You're not going to get those. But not only are green and black's keys technically not going to be exclusive here, because you're going to get versions of them in the transforming Zords. We already know that they're going to come with somewhat similar power keys that can be used in the Morpher and such. They're not going to be exactly like the ones that come with the figure here. You know, those ones are going to be a little bit more different in terms of just kind of how they're engineered and stuff like that. You're not going to necessarily get the whole, like, holofoil sticker and all that stuff that's on these ones. One good thing about this 5-pack, if the back of the box picture is to be believed, is that they may have corrected the figure of Ollie. So in the original release here, the top of the helmet, you can see there, was all painted silver, which is inaccurate. There should be blue paint there in between the horns on his dinosaur helmet there. And on the back render here, it does look like there is the appropriate darker color there, which would imply blue plastic there and not the silver paint, as it should be. I hope that his figure is corrected for this 5-pack, because if I'm already buying it to get Izzy and Javi and the Chroma Fury Sabers, and if I have to get a repeat of the Core 3, I definitely want him to be fixed, you know? I'm not too enthusiastic about rebuying red and pink, but it is what it is with that, because at least if they fix Ollie, I'm buying the pack more for 3 figures than I'm buying it for just 2. But of course, a lot of people already have these 3, are not that bothered by Ollie's helmet, and don't want to have to just buy the 5-pack to get Izzy and Javi. So is there any hope of us getting them outside of the 5-pack? There could be. There are a couple reasons to believe why Izzy and Javi wouldn't actually be permanently exclusive to this set. If not for just the fan outcry alone, you know, that could potentially reverse Hasbro's decision here, although I doubt they would listen to that. But really, it kind of goes back to the Beast Morphers thing. The Beast Morphers Season 2 toy line really fizzled out because they didn't have a lot that they could have done with Season 2. They could have done more than they did. But the whole thing with it is that they kind of sort of ran out of figure options in the end compared to, you know, they kind of did a lot of it in Season 1. Season 2 of Dino Fury, depending on how you look at it, technically has a lot to do, technically has really next to nothing to do. So obviously this is spoilers, I suppose, for Dino Fury, even though they showed it in the first episode, and if you've seen Resoldier, you know what's coming. We have Red's power-up, whatever that's going to be called here, Max Russell Red in the Sentai. I feel like that's basically an absolute guarantee for at least one of the basic figures for Season 2. Of course, they could also do some of the other villains like Mucus and Weisel. Wait, that's his Sentai name. Slither. Earlier I mentioned how they skipped out on the Henchmen. They could release them during Season 2. And of course, kind of the one that I skipped here, because I really don't know if they would do it, all of the armors. We've already seen Amelia use the kind of, you know, fire orange armor in the show, so they could release those figures. All they would have to do is pump out the same molds again with just the new armor on them. They could do that. Of course, they also could just release Izzy and Javi in the main basic figure wave of Season 2. It would make sense to me. I mean, actually, it would have made a lot more sense to just include them in the Wave 2 of Golden Void Knight, but maybe they are specifically waiting for Season 2 for them to get individual releases, so that way you get Rangers in the toy line. I mentioned these in passing during a couple of weeks ago on Lightning Storm, for specifically during the List of Listings 3.0 segment. I did mention that there are 4 basic listings, 4 basic figures that are unknown. So here they are, and their barcodes there. Presumably, whether or not these are just a Wave 3 of Season 1's toy line, or they could be Wave 1 of Season 2's toy line. Also on the List of Listings 3.0 is the most recent Zords we saw, the Mosa Razor and the Terra Freeze. Those are on there as well, and I would assume that at least the Terra Freeze is going to be a Season 2 release, if not the Mosa Razor as well, since we're so far into Season 1 and the main 5 Zords are really taking their sweet time to come to retailers. So perhaps those 2 are Season 2 toys. They would be early enough in development for that to not be until 2022, especially based off of what we saw on the Fan First Friday. So I would not be surprised if these 4 basic figure listings are for 2022. Unfortunately, they just don't give us any idea of who they could be, but I would say it's not out of the complete realm of impossibility that maybe Green and Black single standalone releases would be part of this group of 4. In the end, this whole situation is just rather unfortunate. If Hasbro would approach this toy line like Bandai did for so many years, granted I know they're completely different companies that can do whatever they want, but we've had Rangers been skipped out of figures before, it's happened, but I can never ever think of a time where 2 core members of a team were locked into some kind of weird exclusive release. Now, of course, if you'd never bought the figures of Red, Blue, and Pink at this point, this is great news for you. Not only are you going to get the show-accurate weapons, you're going to get their keys, you're going to get the buckles and a bonus, and you're going to get Izzy and Javi. But who knows if they're going to be permanently locked in this, or maybe even if they come out individually, who knows if they're going to be different. Of course, we had the infamous Skirtgate incident a couple months ago. What if a single release of Izzy had her with her skirt on when the 5-pack doesn't? Could you imagine the outcry that would bring us? I don't even want to think about how bad that would end up being. So I hope that Hasbro kind of looks at the situation and realizes that locking Green and Black in a 5-pack is a really bad decision. I don't think that they are that naive to not release them individually during the Season 2 toy line. I just don't see that happening, especially since they did not say for absolute certainty that they are exclusive to this 5-pack. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. Do you think that Hasbro is going to lock Izzy and Javi into this 5-pack? Do you think they could be part of the identities of the 4 unknown codes that could be for Season 2 basic figures? Did you pick up the original releases of Red, Blue, and Pink? So if you did, are you going to get the 5-pack like I'm doing? Or did you skip those and you're happy because you can just wait and get this now? Just let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. Of course, in the end, I think Power Ranger fans are probably blowing this out of proportion, making a whole fuss about it. I think that it does deserve to be discussed, how it is just not a good look to have Izzy and Javi's first release be in this 5-pack, regardless if they're going to be released later on down the line. I think this just puts a lot of uncertainty into fans' minds, and it just is not a good look to release them this way first. I get the idea of, oh, you can get them first in this exclusive set. I just don't think this is the exact route they should be going down. But that's all I got for this episode here. Just wanted to talk about this whole situation, kind of give some history and background to what got us to this point and what they could be doing and what they could be waiting for. And I guess I'll be doing a video review of the 5-pack when it does come out from Amazon. I will leave the Amazon Australia link to the 5-pack below. It's not available on Amazon US yet. We don't have a release date. We don't have a price point. But you can just always check that link, and eventually it will be updated with your country's Amazon. Just change the .com.au to .com or .France or Italy or whatever your country is. And I'm sure it will pop up eventually. So thank you all for watching here. Can't wait to read you guys' comments. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at LivingRangerKey or at LightningFigPR. I'll see you all later. Tokusatsu forever.